Stadler, where are you? Get back in your cubicle. I'm not paying you to uncubicle yourself.
So, I'm just outside of Tofino BC, and I've found the entrance to what is known as the Bomber Trail. It's about 14 or 15 telephone poles from the parking lot, the road to the parking lot at Radar Hill. So you just walk along the highway south until you see there's a 1 foot path that is not it on the right, and then you see about 100 meters later you see another one, and it's a little wider, as you can see. And I ran into two guys coming out, and they said it's about a 45-minute hike in. So we'll see what we find. Oh, where am I going? Well, it's called Bomber Trail because up in the woods is the wreckage of a Canso bomber from World War II. And apparently there's an abandoned building up here somewhere too on the way in. So we'll see what we find. There's a bit of a rise coming up. And here is the creepy abandoned building. Let's check this out. Oh yeah. Party Central. So I think the path either goes around it on the right and joins up with that one that we saw from the back, or we just go through this building and out the back here. Or you can read the graffiti, exit to trail. That works too. All right, and now we're going down. So there's a muddy bog area. I'm going to head back just a little bit to show you. So stuff like this. And there's a lot of little attempts to kind of go around the muck. But there's also these guidelines that kind of show you where the path is going. So as long as you're catching up with those pretty regularly, I think you can kind of circumvent some of the muck. I read somewhere that search and rescue had to be called quite a few times to get people out of here because they get lost trying to get to it. It's an unofficial Parks Canada trail, so know that going in. So, through the bog, onto dry trail again, and going back up and across. I see pieces. I've made it here in 46 minutes. So it's not that bad of a hike. It is a lot of root hopping, mud hopping, up and downs, but not really that bad. There's a Stadler J, and there's people already here. So I made it. Here she is. So, World War II, this old plane was carrying 4 250-pound depth charges and 12 crew members who all survived. I guess a few had injuries. By the looks of this, you wouldn't be surprised. And a bunch of fuel. So they ended up camping overnight and were rescued the next day. But I wouldn't want to have been flying this thing coming in here into the side of a mountain. I'd say that was a bit of a rough landing. Must have been one hell of a ride. So there you have it. The Canso Bomber from 1945, I believe it crashed here. And yeah, it's a pretty good hike in. It took me 46 minutes. Probably take some of you spry young guys less time. Got to pay attention to the markers, but it is marked and it's pretty muddy, so kind of do your research before you get here, before you come up here, because one of the girls that was here as they were leaving, I overheard her say that a lot of times the mud is like all the way up to here because it's just they get a lot of rain or whatever. It's going to be pretty saucy to get in and out of here. So keep that in mind. Check the weather, see if it rained a lot before you got here to Tofino BC. And yeah, it's a unofficial trail, but it's got marks, lines, and tapes. Even the Parks Canada has reflective signs through most of it, so it's not so bad. If you like this kind of thing, come check it out. I'm going to take some stills before the light disappears, and then I think it'll be time to get out here before it gets dark. So this hole that is now filled with water was created when the military detonated the depth charges that were on the plane, and it crashed. So there's another one of these somewhere close by. I'm not going to go look for it, but yeah, and the plane is just up in the woods there.
It's like working with a monkey.